All right, everybody. I'd like to introduce and thank some really good friends and business partners of mine for being here. And we're just going to have a little conversation, and which we're really excited. What we're really excited about is the company that we're working with. And all of us now have been here, 1 or 2 years or whatever that we're going on, and would like to just kind of give you guys some feedback, get some feedback from some really great agents here. I've got Rodney Johnson. Rodney and I have known each other for a very long time. Rodney was a top agent at his office prior to coming to EXP. I mean, Rodney actually, if you're out of the Valley, the legend, one of the original HGTV guys and all the other crap that you did, Rodney. But he's a great guy, good friend of mine, Javier Mendoza. Javier and I became good friends in Greece. We talk about our Greece story. My buddy, Michael Santa. Michael, to me, has one of the greatest stories that we have on our team right now. Michael was at another company, actually, that I was with as well at that time. I always saw Michael as the hardest working guy. I mean, he was on the phones like I used to be when I was younger, a lot younger, right? And didn't feel he was getting maybe the support that he was looking for. And Michael came over here, and with his first year, he actually capped, which is fantastic, And then I have to sit over here and I have to talk to my Spanglish friend, Miss Sandy Hogan. Sandy is another young lady that I'm gonna call you young too, Sandy, because I'm trying to stay in your good graces. Sandy and I have known each other and worked with each other forever. She's also involved in so many activities. We actually both live in the same city. She does a lot of community events. She does a lot of events for NARAP. She's done stuff for just a lot of stuff. So besides being a productive agent, and lastly but not leastly, obviously I got the man, the legend, the beast. I got my homeboy, Mr. Nathan Butcher. And Nate, also one of the most top agents in the country, has been ever since I've known him. Got to be the most excitable person that I know. Nate's one of these guys, he makes his mind up and it's a done deal. You might as well just count it. It's a matter of when it happens. Not if, just when it happens. So thank you guys for being here and sharing on the call. First thing I would like to just maybe quickly ask you, hey, you know what? I'll start off with you, Mike. What is your experience been from what you were expecting from joining EXP?
Really, to start out, I was expecting, something similar to what I came from, with maybe a little bit more support, and what I got just blew that away. I mean, the ability to get a hold of people, the ability to talk to people at different levels in the company. I mean, I sent a text message to, the founder, Glenn Stanford, and within 5 minutes, I got something back from him.
Wow.
I mean, just to be able to contact, and then people above or around that have been there longer, they're willing to help out. That was just been huge. But that with the technology, it's just been amazing. I found at different times I pointed out something that I liked in the company and the reason why I might wanted to come over. And every time it just keeps changing or looking back, and there's something added like every week. I'm just looking at, oh, wow, I can do this too. Oh, wow, this is also something I get. And it's just added into, and nothing's being taken away. And it's just, I've just loved the experience of everything.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, hey, Mr. Butcher.
Yes,
So
sir.
you and I have obviously history on how you joined, and you've done some fantastic things in coming to the company. Opened a lot of doors, started the express offer a system. I mean, there's a whole lot of people in the company right now who are making additional income just because of your efforts. Let me ask you, now that I guess it's been 2 years now that we've been here, how has EXP hopefully exceeded maybe some of the thoughts and dreams that we talked about even first coming over?
Yeah, for me, I think what Michael, I want to echo on what he said. The involvement that all the agents have is what's really doing things like this, that's what I hadn't had in 20 years. So when I came to EXP, the ability and the willingness for everybody to help each other, because the way the company set the culture, that's what's totally changed it for me. So if I need something, I'm calling, you and I are talking every few days. If I need something from somebody, they'll call, they'll text back. All the things that they're creating. And as we see the stock, oh my gosh, it's blowing out of control. I mean, I think my average stock that I've been given and purchased and awarded was about $8.19. And today it's at 35, almost $35. So my phone was blowing off this morning. What's going on with EXP? So I think the retirement they have created was way more than I ever imagined. The stock end of it was way more than I ever imagined. The teamwork from the team, like working with Sandy and working with all the people in our group, way more than I ever imagined. And I haven't lost a beat in my sales, and I still have time to do, and with all the technology and stuff that's happening. But I think EXP is really poised to do great things because of the whole model of the no brick and mortar model. I mean, I have an office here, and we all like to train and meet again. But I think just the model itself, it really lends. That 3 streams of income has made a huge difference in my family's life.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a fantastic story. And Mr. Johnson, sir. So
Yes, sir.
I had to start off. You know how you start off with somebody and you give them those slow drips. You can't just run at them and say you need to bring your butt over here. And you kind of like slow drip them because Rodney's out there. And every time I talk to him, not only would Rodney sell something, he would tell me he'd name drop a celebrity's name or a musician's name, and then this house was 1 point this and this one is 4 point that. This is when I'm getting from Rodney as I'm trying to like slowly talk to him about EXP. And all of a sudden one day, Rodney called me and said, "Hey, you know what? I want a little bit more information." So Rodney, now that you and your team have come, your son, your namesake is here.
Yeah.
How are you feeling now about your move to EXP?
Well, I'm feeling great. And in fact, you mentioned my son. When you sent me the video of it, I just pawned it off to him. I said, "Here, watch this." And and he got about 12 minutes into a 25-minute video, and he says, "Dad, we're doing this." So I said, "Okay, I better call Elgin." So that's when I called you, and thus began the process. It was about a 4-month process of me getting out of the ownership that I was in at the Berkshire Hathaway office in Chatsworth. And so glad that I walked away from about a $42,000 investment and with nothing, and they didn't buy me out or anything. And of course, it was kind of worthless anyway. So, but now last year, I think I put about $10,250 into the stock, and today my stocks are worth almost $48,000.
Wow.
So I've made back that $42,000 that I walked away from. And I think, boy, this keeps up. I can go buy my Tesla just with the stock.
That's right.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm doing too, from day one, we wanted to make Icon, and we didn't make it last year. I had 2 really big life changes last year. One was to sell, well, actually not sell, just give back my stock in the Berkshire Hathaway office and come to EXP. But I also sold my house in Chatsworth in 19 years and moved to Westlake Village, where my wife and I became dorm parents at a Christian boarding school that was just opening up. So I was able to actually get office space in the building and for dirt cheap. And so 2 big moves: moving and changing companies after having been with the same firm for 33 years or 32 years. So big changes. The other thing too, though, that I've done too, because I said, we wanted to make Icon. One of the things that you can't just, cap and then do 20 more deals or sell $500,000 worth of real estate. You also have to either attend some meetings and or become a mentor. And so I've become a mentor, and I've got 10 mentees right now that I'm working with. And 4 of them already have deals in escrow. One of them is on her 2nd deal. And so you have to do 3 deals in the mentorship program before you can move out and then move up to the 80% cap or 80% cut. So anyway, I'm enjoying that too. And some of the things that I'm doing with that is I'll have about a bi-weekly meeting, Zoom meeting with them. Just like last week's meeting was about how to build your own real estate portfolio using little or no money down programs. And I spoke from my own experience. I've bought and sold 5-6 houses, all with little or no money down. So
we'll have to have you pick your brain and have you talk to the whole group about that. So you're sitting around there reporting information. You don't want to share it to everybody else. So we're gonna have to get you to get up and get out your easy chair and speak to some of the rest of us in the group. Hey, Miss Hogan, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, listen, I just real quick, and I appreciate you being on the call. And you were another one we had to I think about 50 people talked to you about coming over to EXP before my man Nate was able to finally convince you that your home was with us. So far with everything else that you're doing, all the other stuff that you're involved in, and I see that your production is really, really off the chain right now. How are you feeling, not only about coming to EXP, but how have you felt about working with the company during the pandemic? Has it helped you? Has it not helped you? Just how do you feel about that? And maybe what are some things that you're doing that is helping you and your business?
I first of all, I'm grateful for the opportunity to have joined EXP. There were different things being offered to me at the time, and I could have gone with a comfortable decision, and going with something that was different and outside of the box, I believe, has given me lots of opportunities. I agree with what everybody else is saying. We have access to a lot of different people that you may not normally have access to that would support you, and everybody wants to see you win. The sources of income that you get, I would say, are not just limited to the three. I too am a mentor, and whenever you get your mentees in production, that's another source of income. And Elgin, we also invested in that in the intro lend, and
Yes.
that hopefully is another way of income. So during the pandemic, when because I myself was thinking, oh man, this is going to be bad. I'm going to be broke. I've actually, you're absolutely right. I've thrived in this market, and I think it's because I feel that, I wasn't quote unquote homeless in terms of an office. I was already in a virtual world, and I was already working for a company that believes in diversification before it became a popular thing. Everybody's doing it now, but we were there first.
Absolutely, I thoroughly agree. And
everybody's trying to be the cloud.
Your connection's kind of bad, Sandy. I'm gonna come back to you in a second, okay?
But we were there first.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to you in a second, Sandy. My man, Javier, you're the only one standing up, so I don't want your legs and your knees to hurt too bad. First of all, congratulations for being back inside your office there. Like I said, I see your EXP sign up. It was nice to be there, and you had me speak at your grand opening, which we thought was only was pre-pandemic. I think we got about 2 weeks in prior to you having to close up. And I tell you real quick, Javi and I, we knew each other, but didn't know each other really well. And my wife and I were in Greece. We were in Greece, and we were on a beach in Greece, and we were eating. And all of a sudden, I heard somebody say, "Hey, Elgin!" And I'm like, I looked around like, oh gosh. First of all, I was happy it was a male voice. And I'm sitting there, my wife's like, "Who do you know in Greece?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And then all of a sudden, you see Javi. Now, you have to picture this. Javi was he had just gotten married. So I see this guy coming out the water. He's coming out the water with a sea-doo, and he's like, "Hey!" So him and his wife sat out with Laura and I for a minute, and he had mentioned he had already done a lot of EXP homework, but he had not made a decision yet. So of course I talked and that. And long story short, obviously Javi came over, But my wife Pilar, she always mentions that. See, I drug you to Greece, and we got a great agent that joined the company, so we got to go on
Never
another
know.
trip. So Javier, you're a great addition to the team, but you're also about to cost me another trip whenever things open up again. But hey, so tell me, so far the same thing as far as you in the pandemic. I know that you got your team rolling. A couple of your team members I've talked to, off and on during the pandemic, and you seem like you not missed a beat. And so tell me, how are things going for you, and how has it been different being here than it was since you weren't here as long before the pandemic hit?
Correct. Well, thank you so much, Elgin, for educating me in the beginning of this journey. I thought I knew I thought I knew how EXP worked, but I had no idea. You really took the time to educate me and sit down and all that good stuff. But everything, we're chugging right along. We already, I'm picking back what everybody's saying. We already had the platform. So I thought my biggest hurdle coming over to EXP, I thought it was because it was a cloud-based brokerage. I thought that was going to be my hurdle. Now that paradigm has shifted, and that's our biggest edge now. And the stock market and the real estate market, it's really showing that upon us. Like Nate was saying, the stock's at 35. I just got started in February, but I was already issued stock. I already bought into some of the stock. And my investment that I put personally has already 4x in the last 3 to 4 months because of the stock. So I didn't have that anywhere else. And on the 22nd, I got surprised last month with over $1,000 in revenue share, out of nowhere. And
that's fantastic.
It makes a difference. It's not much. It's just a little bit less than the stimulus package, but I get this every month. I get this every month, and it's growing now because our team is starting to really talk to other people. And at the same time, Mexico's opening up in a couple months, and that's a huge market. I know India's opening up, 1 billion people over there, and we have the right model. We really have the right platform.
Man, that's a great story. That's fantastic. When we initially came over because of the opportunity to retire and the stocks and that. But we came out of the gate pretty strong with the revenue share. I mean, we were a little skeptical on the revenue share, to be honest with you, because of the previous company we were with, and if there was any revenue, it was never shared. So it was a little bit different. So we didn't know, we didn't move over here for that. And it's funny because things took such a turn to where, we've been blessed, and the team's been building and growing, and everybody's grinding, and we've been able to achieve some revenue share success. But now where the stock and all this is going, this is actually what we were anticipating in moving over, but we weren't anticipating it would be something like this. I remember telling Pilar when we came over, of like, yeah, you know what, if this thing gets back up to like maybe $20 a share in the next few years, and we're accumulating shares 5 years from now, we'll be able to do whatever, right? Similar like what Nate's saying. I mean, my average, the average from the repurchasing program part of it, we were at $5.83 was what our average was from the stuff we've been repurchasing. We were it was a little bit higher than that for the stocks that we've been awarded, but yeah, that is that's a fantastic thing. And I know, Rodney, you were speaking about Icon, and I could not be amiss to admit that we do have a top icon here on our call with Mr. Butcher, because Nate has achieved that level, and it looks like everything works out right here. Looks like Pilar and I are about to hit that status from what I was told and process it. So at any rate, though, the 3 streams of income is fantastic. Let me ask you, Michael. So now that from where we're at, And then anybody else, feel free to jump in after Mike is, what are you expecting for the future? I think that there's a new normal now. I hear as you're talking to other agents in other companies, and some of them weren't doing anything for the longest. And some of them are now seem to be back in the game a little bit. But I keep hearing from other agents, well, as soon as things get back to normal, I don't know. I think this may be the new normal. But what are your thoughts of that?
I think the new normal, like you said, it's shifting now with so much more to go. Being cloud based, my area that I could cover was, my close area. Now, because when we were on lockdown and everything like that, I could represent something. I'm in Santa Clarita. I could represent something in San Francisco. I could do, my area has expanded. That's expanded. Not only that, but with all the different streams of income, everything is growing. With the world, we've grown other streams of income, other campuses, schools, big universities are using our platform to teach their classes and everything like that, and that's just going to grow. We've added other aspects to it, so technology just keeps getting better and better. We're just able to do so many more things, so I think the future is going to stay more virtual. I have a nephew who moved to Kansas because his job would only let him work there. He worked there for 3 months after the pandemic and everything. They're like, oh, you can live wherever you want. People are finding out people can work from home. People are finding out you don't have to be in the office. It's actually more productive. So that's what people are starting to realize. So cutting the costs and being able to do this, and as well as supporting the people and being able to connect, we're just going to keep going there more and more and more, along with just growing.
I agree with that. And so now, Nate, too, you with rebuilding your team and your business model, which is fantastic. As far as you guys, I mean, Nate was being very modest when he said that he hasn't skipped a beat with his production. His production matches his work ethic. By the way, he's one of these guys who works extremely hard and gets his success from that. Nate, you and I have a lot of conversations, and we do a lot of Zooms and a whole bunch of other stuff. What do you think is happening right now for the next maybe 6 to 12 months coming out of this pandemic for agents? What do you think agents should be doing with their business?
Well, I do have an opinion on that for sure. So I think right now is your building blocks. I think agents, I think by the time you wait for something to change, you already missed the boat. It's kind of like the people when we first got in EXP, all these people have been telling us lately, gosh, I wish I would have got in when the stock was $8. Well, if the stock's $100 or it splits, they'll say, boy, I wish I would have got in today, right? Yeah. So I personally think the way I look at my business is I don't get caught up with the way things ever used to be. I just go with whatever's going and where I see it going, and I just adjust and move. And I think that's probably the best thing. So I'm not like waiting for a big change, but your question was, where do I see the market going? I think that I don't ever see the Zooms. I don't ever see the cloud-based system. I don't ever see the working from home. I don't ever see that going away ever. I think that we're not going to go back into where everybody's in a big brick and mortar. Perfect example. I did finally moved into this office here that we know. But the main reason I did that, Elton, is you and I kind of lead the group, right? And we decided together that, hey, I needed to be here. Fanny, she does a lot of work, needed to be here. This gives us a meeting room downstairs. It gives us a conference room. And there may be two or more big producers who don't like to work from home that have big teams. But what I'm saying is you can take one office space and it can go for what do we have, about almost 200 of us, right? So that and everybody else can work from home. We can all come in and have a place to meet and a place to be. So I don't think we're ever going to go back to these $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month leases. And I think EXP is just going to keep expanding. I mean, I heard you spit some numbers about Rodney there, 4 million this and 2 million this. I mean, a guy that can do that type of properties and do it from his home office. And I think it's all about keeping your overhead extremely low and the production very high. Now, Sandy, I don't know if you could click back on. Fanny just became a mentor as well. And you talked about the additional streams of income, and Fanny didn't even really tell me. We just needed to do it. But a lot of people are making a lot of money. Rodney, you're mentoring 10 people, and Sandy, how does that pay structure work? Maybe we could use that for some of these people who have a lot of experience, but maybe are struggling a little bit to say, come to EXP, be a mentor. You've got 20 years experience. How does that work with the splits on that? They might be watching this video. I think you guys have a lot to say. Maybe
Sure.
Rodney or
Yeah, the split is for their first 3 transactions, the new agent is on a 60% split. EXP gets 20, and then the mentor gets 10%. There's an additional 10% that goes to the mentoring program. So you get 10%. So we just on Friday, agent closed her first deal, and it was an $8,100 commission on a house out in Pine Mountain, and so I got a deposited check yesterday for $810. So not a whole lot, but the first one that we closed a month or so ago was more than that. It was a four-figure check, so that was nice too.
That was great. So Sandy, maybe I could just ask you, what does it look like going through the mentor process when you take somebody from start to finish? How much work's involved?
Well, I think part of it is being accessible to them when they call and just answering their questions.
Yeah.
And you could leverage your time, because one of the things I do is when they start asking me a lot of questions about contracts, I tell them before I sign that mentor agreement, if you're going to be working with me, you're going to contract with Debbie every Wednesday. That's an hour and a half of very, very high level training on contracts. And I actually check in and I attend that class every Wednesday, even though I've been doing this for like almost 20 years. It's always good to know what's changed, what's new. And then I make sure my mentors are in there. And if they're not, I'm like, don't call me with questions if you're not taking the coaching.
That's Sandy. That's Sandy.
Yeah. but you know what? You're creating better agents, and they're becoming really educated, and they're in production. So I mean, I think it's a great way to make extra money. And in California, 10% of 2.5 or 3% is a lot of money.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
So just for us, I'm not a mentor. I don't think Elton is. I doubt that Javier or Michael is. But let's say that we are bringing in new agents. Like I have 2 brand new agents coming in now. Fanny got her mentorship, but she can only do so much. Should we be telling our people, hey, if you bring in new agents that you're sponsoring into EXP and you're not a mentor, can they request you, Sandy, or you, Rodney? Can they do that? How does that work?
Yeah, I think they can actually request, because there's a couple of agents that either I've brought in, that I've sponsored, and I said, ask for me. Now, one thing, I go by my middle name. My first name is Hal, H-A-L, and so EXP knows me as Hal Johnson. So you need to tell them to go to Hal Rodney Johnson if they wanted to ask for me.
And how many can you have at one time? How many mentees?
I don't know. Sandy, do you know? Is there a limit on the number?
I don't think there's a limit. There's actually a shortage of mentors. And what I do appreciate about the program is I'm able to turn it off and on. If I'm able to take people on, I'll take people on. If I've got too much going on, then I'll say, look, I'm not taking anybody on right now, because it does take a little bit of your time to really get these people doing what they need to be doing. And I want to be responsible about their time and my time as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Eldon, I think something that this is a whole window that we have. I mean, I've missed it. Maybe you haven't. You've got them on here, but we could really be using this to build our group with all this experience that we've got. There's a lot of people that aren't doing as much now as they were, but have experience. So maybe we need to maybe have Sandy and Rodney do like a heading on another training at some point to do that. That'd be good.
Sure, that's a good idea. It's funny. EXP has reached out to me a few times and asked me if I wanted to do the mentor program, and I think I just got old and crabby. So, so for me personally, it wasn't something. But I think it's something that's great, and it's definitely another source of income. The IntraWind that Sandy mentioned. If you guys have not looked into that, I think that you should. Just another source where you can actually invest into the mortgage side of what the company is growing. You can also bring like a good person, Nate, if you do so much with Fred. It might be something that Fred would want to look into about being on a, you can put your lender on the platform and they'll have the ability to compete for loans through the platform with every EXP agent that is in our organization. So now all of a sudden they're open up to 32,000 agents that they have an opportunity to do loans with. They don't do a RESPA violation kickback or anything like that. We actually are investors in that as well. And one of the things that Michael had mentioned, I think Javi had mentioned too, is, you know, look at what's going on with where our company is going. The purchase of Verbella and what they're doing. If you want to know what's driving the stock, these acquisitions, that latest acquisition with Showcase IDX, if you look at it, that's a direct competition to Zillow. That's a direct competition to the little app over there that the Red Company is doing with Command, some of those things. These things, man, are going to explode on growth. If you look at our stock right now, we're rolling like a Tesla or a Square or something like that. There's no telling where this thing will be a couple of years down the line, especially now that it's profitable already. Hey,
Yeah.
let me ask you this too. I'm sorry, Nate. Let me ask you something real quick too. But I know Nate had mentioned how he's operating his office. Your office that you have set up now, and I know what your vision was initially. Are you still have the same vision of what you're utilizing that office for to help some of the agents you're bringing on?
Yeah. So I came in, you know, with Fred's building. Fred is really Fred from American Family Funding. It's really good because he owns these 3 buildings plus has the mortgage company. So, and they do an outstanding job with the loans. And you know, you don't have to give your loans to him, but these buildings are brand new. So this office was new. This whole office building we have here, 360. There's probably 13 there's nobody here. There's only it's like a executive suite. It's kind of like a Regis. His rates are really good if somebody did want to rent an office, but anybody that I could encourage that wanted to work at an office, let's get 3 or 4 or 5 of us in here. So the synergy is really moving. And I've just bought 3 brand new agents on. We're training them. So what I'm basically doing, I'm utilizing KV Core to lead generate. Okay. And I'm lead generating about a lead a day. So I'm generating about 60 leads a month. And these are good leads. These are where people type in, do you have an agent? Yes or no. They answer 3 questions. We have it all set up. It costs $300 a month. I'm leading through my videos, and then I'm bringing on agents by saying, okay, I have leads for you. So that's what I'm doing to help build out my top line, and then, you know, my revenue share, but also, and then, you know, still trying to do and bring on the producers. And right here's the MTA report sitting right on my desk. Okay, the top 500 in Santa Clarita. So I'm just trying to tell people, but the stock is the best thing. Forget trying to tell them about the revenue share. Talk about the stock, because the revenue share can come later once they understand the company.
I agree. How about you? How's your office? Are you running your office pretty similar?
Correct. Any agent that's on our team, or if you guys need to see somebody in Northridge or the North Valley, you know, we could meet our clients here. Of course, we follow CDC protocol. We follow all the protocols, California, Los Angeles. But yeah, right now we don't have that many people at a time. We stagger all the time for our assistants to come in and all that stuff. But yeah, we are meeting people, but we're not having the lunch and learns, not yet. But
I
yeah,
can't wait till those are back. I can't wait till that's back. We had such a good time. I can't wait till it comes back. So.
Exactly. But we're still building. Now, same thing. Now I'm talking to agents that said, you know what? I see it. I see how this is going to work. Let's talk. So it's going forward. Like Mike said, this is the new normal. Everything's going cloud-based. You see all the cloud-based companies. EXP is a tech play as well. And I love how EXP is also investing in themselves. They're acquiring great companies to bring that technology into themselves, just like other companies do.
Right.
Okay. They purchased Verbella. That has grown over 200% in the last 4 or 5 months because every colleges and other businesses are reaching out to them. Showcase IDX. You know, so we have a very bright future, and I'm extremely excited.
So let me do this as we wrap up. I'd like maybe each one of you guys maybe to give it about 30 seconds or so. Sandy, I'll start with you. If you're talking, there's someone that's looking at this right now, and they're probably not in a good place, or a place that they want to be, I should say, at the company that they're at. What would you tell them in about 30 seconds or less on why they need to get over here and join our family?
Well, first of all, I do send them our little video and give them that information to look at. The stocks is something that I would actually talk about as well. I'm floored at the value of the stocks and how that's changed. And I know that you're saying don't talk about the revenue share, but I really haven't been pushing recruiting the way I should. And Alba is my one person, and she's been producing, and I've been getting checks, and I'm like, why am I not doing this harder and stronger? And so I think that there's a lot of opportunity there. So just at least, it doesn't hurt to explore something that if something's already not working for you, just check. I mean, just look, I would think.
Good. Michael, what do you think, man? What would you tell somebody that needs to get over here right now?
I would say, first of all, you had it right from the beginning. When you thought about it, you didn't really look at the revenue share. That was just a bonus idea. And to me, that's what I've come around to and everything like that. The bottom line is, do what you're doing here. You're going to be pocketing more in the long run. Do what you're doing here. Everything else kind of bonus falls in. Plus, it is, like you said, it's a family. People are here to support you. But just do what you're normally doing and just reap the benefits. You get the stock, you get the revenue share. Those will all come to you from doing what you're normally doing. You're paying 5%, 6% as in your fees anyways for your corporate fees or anything like that. So why not take that and invest it back into yourself instead of into the company?
Excellent point. Rodney, what do you think, my friend?
Well, I have a business coach, and I talk to him every once in a while. And by the way, he knows personally Brent Gove. He lives up in the same area where Brent Gove lives. But anyway, I was just telling him one of the reasons why I came to EXP was I looked at my production in 2017 when my gross commissions were $585,000, and I paid $15,000 for a franchise fee to Berkshire Hathaway, and I paid $80,000 as far as to the company split. So $95,000. I would have paid $16,000 to them, and then gotten 16 of it back in the form of company stock because I'd made Icon. And so it's like, oh brother, why didn't I do this 3 years ago? Elgin, why didn't you ask me 3 years ago?
Right.
But now, just like we've been saying, I think the stock is going to be a great motivator, to certain people too. One of the things, I said that I've been doing the trainings with our mentoring group, but I'm also using that as a way to bring other seasoned agents in. And so I record them on Zoom, and I've had some of them say, hey, send me the link to that, because I couldn't make it, but I really want to. So I'm just trying to, I still want to up my agent attraction. I would love to get to 20 on my front line by the end of the year.
Good for you. Javi, what do you think? What would you tell an agent to right now on you're talking to one of your old friends over there at that other company? Why should they come over here and join us?
Because it's riskier not to do it. People think, oh, it's a risk going over there. Well, first of all, EXP is not a concept company anymore. We're proven 10 years. The company is worth $2 billion now. Look it up on Yahoo Finance. The company is worth $2 billion, all right? We're not a little concept anymore. We're the 800-pound gorilla now. I saw that we're almost twice as much market cap as RE/MAX. That's serious right there. And at the same time, it's riskier not to do it. Like Ronnie was talking about, I was doing the numbers. If I would have joined 3-4 years ago, paying franchise fees, paying my splits, if I would have had some of that in company stock when the stock was lower, it's the numbers are mind-boggling. So you got to think of what you're leaving on the table and just invest in yourself. You know, we're actually owners here, so that camaraderie is totally different in a work environment compared to other corporate environments or franchise environments. So I'm just saying it's riskier not to do it. But at the same time, like, we have a family here. You'll have all the support. You'll have KV Core where you can lead generate on, which is the number one thing agents want, is to increase the production. And the number one thing to increase the production, they need more appointments and more coaching. So we have everything here. So like I said, we have a really, really bright future with DXP.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And last but not least, maybe you can close us out, Nate, on especially with all the agent attraction you're doing. Hey, man.
I tell you, Elgin, Hobby, geez, we almost need to just clip Hobby's last clip. I can't trump that, right? So, I mean, he just said it all. So here's my thing. I'm selling homes just like I did at Realty Executives for 10 years. I'm doing the same things, okay? But here's what I have. I have more energy. I have more excitement because my stock over the last 10 years, I've got or 2 years, is about 8,000 shares doing the discount program.
Wow.
You know, so I mean, it's $240,000, and I only paid $42,000. I mean, you just can't get around it, right?
Right.
So I do believe what Hobby says. We are the 800-pound gorilla. I believe that when I talked to Glenn Sanford, he made the statement to me like a year and a half ago. Nate, we are going to be like a Zillow. What he meant was we were going to do things like buy Verbella. We're going to do things like the other acquisition that he said, and we are going to become a lead generation gorilla like a Zillow, but we're a professional real estate company. It's going to be like Javier said. It's going to be the 800-pound gorilla. They want to swallow up the information. So coming in, getting in the stock now, sell your homes just like you do. I pay only $16,000 cap. If I'm Icon, I get it back. If I don't, it's still only $16,000. I mean, I paid $64,000 at Realty Executives with my splits. The main thing I like to think about is most people pay that franchise fee, 6-7%. We don't pay it, so they allow us to take 5% of our gross commission to buy stock at a discount, which has it went 8 times or 4 times its money. So how can you get away from that? It's just super exciting. And I think it's the best decision I ever made in my life. Best thing I've ever done. I have no reason I could go anywhere right now. We'll never leave. It's the greatest thing I've ever done.
That's a fantastic testimony. And I'll end by saying for ourselves is you guys have heard, first of all, I love working with everybody on the team. And you guys have heard me talk before about wanting to leave a legacy, wanting to leave something for not only my children, but my children's children. You know, it's biblical in the fact that, you know, man, what he does is not what he just does for his family, but it's what he does for all the generations that have not come yet. And there's somebody in that family that has to make that sacrifice. And I decided that person would be me years ago. The time is, I'm not 20 years old anymore. And I've been doing this for 32 years. And there was no way at the last company that I was at that I would have been able to stop doing what I'm doing like you guys are every day. And not only been able to sustain myself for my family that's here, it'd have been luck and hopefully some properties that we sold or whatever would have left something for the people that aren't here yet, that are depending upon me. They're not born yet, but they're looking at me. So I can tell you from a heartfelt standpoint that right now, today, 2 years later, I am probably 5 to 10 times better. And I've done the same exact things that I've been doing for the last 32 years. And that's just helping families with their real estate. And, you know, my goal, or I should say our goal, because my wife is in this, you know, in sync with me, is if we could be here in 5 years from now, we could be in a better position to maybe still sell real estate, obviously, but to be in a position of not having to, be in a position of not necessarily meeting buyers and sellers all the time, that's what we were looking to do. But I have to tell you that I'm pretty hard on myself. And Nate will tell you that. We talk. Sometimes I'm like, man, I say it with curse words. And it's like, dude, you know? And then, you know, I woke up this morning and just really reassessed how blessed I am. Just how blessed I am to be associated around great people like you guys, to be associated with a company that seems to not only get it, but seems to get me, and is rekindle the fire for the dreams that I have, for what I want to do, for what I feel God put me here for. So that being said, if you're not being fulfilled with wherever you're at right now, if you haven't found your purpose, I mean, if you're just kind of out here selling real estate like a job, I mean, but if you're trying to run a business and you've got bigger goals than that, and real estate is just a vehicle to get you to where you really want to be in life, you really need to take a hard look at EXP. I mean, a really hard look. So
Well
with that being said, hey, all you guys, man, on the call right now, man, I love each and every one of you. I appreciate your time. I am so happy and so proud to be in business with all you guys, man. And you know that whenever you need something, I'm here just like everybody else on this team is here. And God bless all you guys, man. And you guys have an excellent day. And I'll talk to you guys really soon. I appreciate you all.
Thanks, Elgin. See you
Thank you,
guys.
Elgin.
Thank you.
Right.
Later.